Welcome. 2:22 a.m. Halloween night, October 31st, 2020. This is my true tales of terror. I am Spooky Joe today. Spooky Joe. For spookiness is in my blood. Spookiness is in my demeanor. Hope you all have a pleasant Halloween. Now then, in 1953, 10 years before I was born, was a treaty made by the President Dwight D. Eisenhower and the Salem reptilians. Fast forward to 1970, the summer of 1970, where I was told by my mother to go to see that my two sisters ate dinner. It was a freak storm. The weather forecast called it heat and lightning, as this globe I have right before me was heat and lightning. No rain, only wind. When I went up the street here, my two sisters were motionless. As I look at an object, the real UFO with spinning lights on top, was gradually came to an end. 3 lights, green, yellow, and red, just like the stoplights we see every day. As I saw this UFO, suddenly the thing came dark, and I was pushed down to my street. And I went to my house. Suddenly, my two sisters were there at my house. They said, "Where were you?" I said, "I don't know." The next day, I asked my neighbors, "Did you see a UFO, flying saucer?" No, they didn't understand. You don't want to comment on it. They didn't remember what happened the night before. suddenly, the next day, I had uncontrollable chicken pox covering my body. I was about to go into second grade, but I cannot go into second grade because my chicken pox was so bad. I had a school photo taken, but I put a piece of tape on my nose. Nobody saw it really. Still available. There's this photo. Third grade, the beginning of the third grade. A new vice principal was present in this Lansdowne elementary school, right? I was approached that day by the vice principal and two men in black and say, "Joe, you're important to us. We want you to go into this after school program. Was my mother okayed? Set up like a recreational activity center. Trampoline, although they would not let me play with other people. Instead, I was taken into a room and they showed me through the viewfinder future events, which I didn't remember anything. A couple months later, the program ended. My caretaker, Gary, he said, we'd like to do this after school PBS program. I said, my mother signed off on it. So I went to the gymnasium there. And it was a big machine. Supposed to be a camera, right? I was just a skinny lad, not more than 100 pounds. That was me and 4 other people that participated in this activity. So I laid down to my arms and legs on the floor of the gymnasium. The lights turned red, yellow, and green flashing lights. I felt a hum, like this hum, in this crystal glowing lightning ball. You were taken to a room. All 5 of us. And I scribbled up pieces of paper. It was like 6 women in black, a woman in black too. You were sitting at this table observing us. crumpled up the piece of paper, threw it in the basket. That was it. That was it. My caretaker, Gary, had a football. Threw me a football. I said, Joe, do you like football? I said, not really. You will like football. I said, I don't think so. Years later, I quit school because I was picked on by people like Pamela Holtman, who trying to Facebook seems to want me to friend. I'm not gonna friend her. I remember her picking on me. I was kicked down school steps by people. I was hated and shunned. Was I've been hated and shunned all of my life. I grew after honor that movement where I was experimented on by Miller Black. I grew to be 150 pounds. Little, you know. So I quit school in the 11th grade because people were hating upon me. I had a couple friends was I to have on my Facebook list. I went to work with my father. I worked with all kinds of people who are my friends on Facebook. Donald Fowler, Jamie Smith, Rick Quinn, George Shipley. One day I slipped on the back of the trash truck and I was gonna crash into a rock fall. I was flipped over like Captain America. And I pointed it. And Smokey said, wow, how do you do that? I said, I don't know. Throughout the years, people on a trash truck warned people here talking about wrestling me and Jamie. Jamie went first. It was a tag team match. I was tagged in by him, and the guy had me in a thing, a hold, and broke my neck. My neck was broken. I should have went to the hospital. Jimmy didn't know what to do. I said, just massage my neck. And I know I will be able to come back from this. I do not know. It was things that was instilled to me by the Mother Black. So Jamie put down any insecurities about me that everybody has through my lifetime, including my mother and relatives, and stop my neck back in place. I should have been put in the hospital. So, years later, my sister raised some rabbits in his house. I pack both the pins, and one day was two wild dogs that came and tore the pins and killed all the rabbits because was but a couple. I woke up that morning with my sister screaming in terror as all the rabbits were dead. 6 months later, my two sisters had a Ouija board down there, messing with a Ouija board. On the Ouija board, I seen a rabbit. A rabbit. I said, "Do you see that rabbit?" I was just young. No, we didn't see that rabbit. All of a sudden, around there, things began to happen. Weird noises, dark shapes, and I went through the cabinet. A cabinet opened up in my kitchen cabinet. I popped the ketchup bottle, the old kind, glass kind. Smashed, should have smashed into the ground, but it didn't. I picked it back up, put it back in the cabinet. Same thing happened. Same thing happened. It smashed. Should have smashed, but it floated down to the ground. Then we had our house exorcised by a priest, and activity stopped. My mother and father were gonna do some thing, get together. I'm not very Maryland. It was a farmhouse. Took me to visit the Nolan family and cousin Buddy. They were not real cousins, just people that were called cousins for my family. Buddy was a strange sort of person, dark person. I went upstairs where he lived. I was weird that the Nolan family didn't live upstairs, only Buddy. And I said, "Let's go down the steps, Joe." So I went down the steps. And suddenly the lights turned out. I was pushed from behind by an invisible force. I would hold on to the rail so I didn't fall down the steps. Later that night, it was a Odan activity at the barn. People got drunk. I was drunk. It went down. I went to the back to take a piss. All of a sudden, a shock came over me. I fell down to the ground, still pissing. What happened? I forgot about the cow bench and nectar pie. So I got piss shocked. So later on that night, I was sleeping upstairs on my own cot with Buddy, same room. I fell asleep for a little bit of time. Was awoken by two black shadow pickers. And one was over Buddy. One was approaching me. So I got scared and I went to go downstairs. All of a sudden, the lights turned off again. I was pushed down the steps again. So I ended up sleeping downstairs, of course, because I'm so scared. So scared that I didn't go upstairs again. Next day, my mother and father came to get me. Buddy was in a barn with the pigs. He also these pigs who the mother pig was having piglets. He hassled them so much that the mother pig killed a couple of the piglets as Nolan probably got upset with him. My mother went upstairs to go to the bathroom. We went home. All of a sudden, heard a tumble down the steps. I said, oh, I knew what happened. My mother was pushed, lights turned on, she was pushed from behind. She was a gay. We're a sort of family that doesn't get hurt by too much. We're all raw-boned people, in my family. She said, Buddy pushed me down the steps. I said, and came to the door, Buddy. He was not even at the house. So that was a scary place that I had to live in for a night of terror. Fast forward to me working at Systems Connection. We went to the place in D.C. called the Society of Assistants. As I waited for the client to come, the client was with my partner doing things. I'm looking at these medieval suits of armor, being a terror within me. Scary place. And steps like the Adams family were the monster steps where the spot popped out the dinosaur. Saw in the corner on my eye, a woman, a ghost, that I knew was a ghost, coming towards me. I didn't even look away until she approached me closely, and then I looked towards her. She was gone, but a force came through me. I was being whispered in my ear a foreign language, which I tried to tell my partner about. He didn't believe me. On a teeth measure, we were measuring pedestals they built for these file cabinets. All of a sudden, the woman's voice went away. And then a male person enveloped me. Terror filled my body. All of a sudden, this tape measure beside for was upstairs down, so was no we were working on wood, spun corner clockwise 3 times and stopped, and I was ready to get out of there as quick as possible. Some years later, I was up to drugs most of my life. Heroin, cocaine, together. So October, did you see that? December 28th, 2003. My stroke was to do with drugs I imagined. I was not taken to the hospital because people think I was just having, people didn't know I was having a stroke. So I did have a stroke. An hour later, I was taken to the hospital, where I was approached by the doctors talking about me as if I were important to them. The 2 or 3 people were there: Amy, Rick, and Unc, who I keep my car keys and wallet to, and I never see that again. But it was kind of rotten, but I forgive each and every one of them, especially Amy and Rick, who are still alive. And I said a prayer to Unc to go to the kingdom of heaven when he died. I got out of the hospital. I was given a drug, Narcotrine, to clear my head out. When I went out to the hospital, everything was different. I can feel the genetic memories of my brain. I seen visions of what was the Baltimore City looked like ancient times to me. It was constructed to ancient times. So the first thing I watched on television was a award show for gaming. An award show, all of a sudden, guest star, a flaming pentagram appeared on the screen. I was scared shitless at this. It was Marilyn Manson, who I seen at concert a couple times on my 50th birthday. I seen him on Alice Cooper. Thank you, Jamie, for taking me there. Buying me the ticket, by the way. And what I did was, when I was experimented on by a Miller plaque, God told me, Gary, that I was supposed to see him when I was 41 years old. I said, why 41? Because I was only like 13 or so years old. You will. So I got an electric bike, rode it around. I met him. I don't even remember him at first. Shook my hand. I'm Gary. I said, hi, Gary. So, rode around. When I went back to the Hillcrest Park, he was gone. I said, oh, I remember him now. He was part of the Men in Black. Before my stroke, I worked at Westinghouse Defense. I was a janitor. And laid that on a table on one of the areas was specifications for having a television set be a camera. It was not an accident that was showed this. It was not an accident I was showed this at all. Years later, I was laid off at Westinghouse. I was working a systems connection. I did a lot of work there, as well as other places. And as I said, I had a stroke. I was working for a systems specialist at a FBI building. And I knew kind of the layout by working there so many days. So I went into this room. They just keep your eyes forward, don't look anywhere around you. But I got good peripheral vision. It was a lot of people sitting at the desk. There was a lot of TV screens. People were being spied upon by these agents. I knew then that people are spied upon throughout this TV screen on my camera. And we are all spied upon. No doubt about it, in my opinion. CIA building. I saw Epoxy Brooks constantly there. True people, the people trust in this pandemic. We're living today. Suddenly, I remembered things that happened to me in third grade. I was shown. I was shown the future then. 2020, we're all living in right now. Truthfully. Told not to trust these people. I cannot comment on that too much because of my situation. We're all living in a situation right now. But one of the things I was shown and told, the old cards are coming. And they're pissed. Why are they pissed? We didn't follow their laws. Didn't follow them. So next year, 2021, they return. And to true terror would envelop everything and everyone. Hope you like my Halloween video. All of this is true. All of this is true. Had many other experiences with UFO and all. One time my sister was living here downstairs. She had an anxiety attack. And then I was awoken by the same type of feeling I had when I was seeing that UFO. Only it was like 10 times more powerful. And a beaming light at the crown of my backyard. Only remember a glimpse of what was in this UFO. It was fighter pilots. It were UFOs. It were government crap. I'm bringing Yager. All of a sudden I woke up. I was dirt on my socks. It was wet because the ground was wet. I said, where did I go? What did I do? I didn't remember. I'm not allowed to remember things fully. That's the point. I'm not allowed to remember anything in my life. I think that due to the fact they experimented on me and was given a shot of alien DNA, cellular particulate DNA, and maybe a hybrid of society. That's why I got patches of skin that looked like alien skin. My knees, my back is covered with that. Cancer permanente by dermatologist. I said, my genetic makeup is different than most people. She said, yeah, I know. It was given consonics. So all the people with consonics given that are alien operas like me. The society is full of people like me. Only a rare few. Grenada Treaty, 1953. The Sedimentarians went with Eisenhower. Given our technology we have today, and the things for experimentation on all of us. But some people were experimenting on more like me. Due to the fact I got this DNA, people don't want to really be my friend too much. They have a tough time. My relatives, my friends, just treating me like a sucker. I got cases, Second Master cases are no cartridges in them because I was stolen. People stole them in my room. So entertained anymore because of that. So I roared when I was really young. I think I called something when I roared. If I roar again, like a Carcassian war, would I cause an alien apocalypse? The zombie apocalypse. I might fight somebody. Would they turn into a zombie and cause it zombie apocalypse? A couple of times I was with women, blondes particularly, that told me I was turning into the devil in the middle of sex. One girl, she ran out of the motel room screaming, naked. I said, what's that about? I was with Sherry, who was, I went up with her a couple times, and I said, did I turn into a double? She said yes, but she was not scared about whatever I was becoming. As I laid down one time in bed, all of a sudden my legs began to deform, cramp up. I was turning into something else besides human. I told my then doctor about it. I was prescribed gabapentin, which I still prescribed today for my nocturnal leg cramps. No, it is not nocturnal leg cramps. Just something that I am stricken by. So that's the end of my story. The true tales of my terror. I am in terror from not being cared about too much. Why? Because my relatives are scared of me because of alien DNA injected in my system. That's why I never married. That's why people just treat me like a sucker. I didn't have anything they wanted. They just stole from me. I used to sell weed. I was taken advantage of by Blackston and the Moors. Do not forgive anyone. Forgive and forget is for suckers. I remember everything that ever happened to me, although people gonna deny it. No doubt about it. I accept people for what they are and what they're part upon me in my lifetime. 45 minutes have gone by. This is my life. Truthfully, I'm not proving. I'm not lying. It's my truth, which I will tell in the form of poetry in a book I will write. Lastly, my mother went to the fortune teller and was told one of your family is going to be famous. Right? And I thought, it's probably going to be one of my sisters, you know. Oh, yeah. I got to end with this story. Sorry this is so long, but I need to tell this tale. And a black wedding dress. My mother had a family sister. I think her name in my mind was Victoria. She was a witch. She was married with a black wedding dress. The wedding dress was given to my mother. I heard a noise. Just talking about this is creeping me out. My brother was in the army in 1974. He went out to the army and he met this girl. He was ended up being a witch herself. He was having problems with his wife he married. Everyone didn't like her. And see that behind me? I heard I think it's shadows behind me right now. I feel a presence now in my room downstairs here. Creeping me out now. Real things are happening right now. There's 3 a.m. the wishing hour right now. Hear a voice in the background. I need to tell the story to you now. My sister-in-law. My brother went to the army again. He was stationed overseas in West Germany. They were about to get a divorce. My sister-in-law was in a ritual, a satanic ritual. And she did a spell to cause my brother harm. I was in my mother's room. We had a closet. Nobody could really open right. All of a sudden, the closet door sprang open. All of a sudden, a black wedding dress popped up. on that closet onto my mother's bed. She acted surprised. It was 3 wishes on this black wedding dress, which she failed to use to help my brother. The next day, my brother died. True story. We were went to the funeral. One officer said, "We cannot put West Germany on a scrape because it was incidents that happened in West Germany. Other people were killed by what happened to my brother. Supposedly, because I don't think it was I looked like a wax picker of my brother." So my mother said, "Don't put Vietnam on a scrape." Was if you go to my brother's grave, it's still there. A lie was put on my brother's grave. Is my brother still alive? Did he die yet? Was he a Spider-Man and all like me? Who knows? That is my true tales of terror. Hope you all have a lovely, safe Halloween. I'm Spooky Joe tonight. Cosmic Joe will be back soon. Pleasant screams.